Welcome to the Unit 3 assignment. So basically what I want to do is I just want to show you essentially how you are going to convert to Celsius into Fahrenheit. This is a very difficult assignment, so any help that I can give you would be a benefit. So basically what I just did was I just copy and pasted some stuff that I already had typed out in a notepad, and that was your function prototypes. This is a big part of the assignment. This is a big part of this week. What you need to do is first define your function prototypes. Now, I'm not going to do the complete assignment because obviously that would not help you at all learn anything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a portion of that assignment. And the first thing we're going to do here is let's start to put our temporary values here. So there's a million different ways to write the code for the assignment. But essentially, I'm just basically doing it one way. So the first thing I'm going to do is just ask for a temporary value, and I'll show you what I'm doing with that. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, and I have this copied over here too. I'm going to ask for basically post the converter, and next thing I'm going to do is type in, and I'm typing this free form, so bear with me here, printf, and we're going to say enter number 1 for conversion to from Fahrenheit to Celsius. Okay, that's the first thing I'm doing. Again, a million different ways to do it. I'm only showing you a portion of this to basically help you out and get you started, because like I said, this is a tough assignment. So basically what I'm doing here is same thing that we reviewed in the previous assignments. I'm basically pulling in that temp value. And your development environment may look a little different. I'm actually using Xcode for the Mac, so it'll work with either of them, but I'm using Xcode for the Mac, so it's a little different. It may look a little different depending on your operating system. So we're pulling in the value, which gets addressed to the temp val, and I'm going to say if temp value equals 1, and I'm only going to do the first portion of this. Then we're going to come in here and we are going to do printf. Helps if I spelled it a little better. Printf, and we're going to say enter a temp number in Fahrenheit to convert to Celsius. And hopefully we get some bugs that we could debug, but we'll see how it works. So that's the first thing. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a scanf, and we need to bring in a Fahrenheit number. So let me do an int for our number in Fahrenheit. We'll just call it F number. And let's do. Okay, so then that's scanf, and we're going to say scanf, and let's pull in that info. And we want to do F number. Okay. I typed that right. What is it saying for us here? Okay, that's okay. All right, so the next thing we need to do is let's write out our function. So So we're going to say int, and I could just copy this information up here. Oop. Oh, looks like I didn't copy it. Hang on. Make sure I copy. And I'm going to paste it here. And I am going to say to cell 2 Celsius equals, and we could say, let's just do it this way. We're going to say return or actually, well, there's a couple different ways to do it, but let me just do it this way. Let's do int value. In case we need to debug it, and it makes it a little better. Okay, so we're going to say value equals, and we're going to say 2 Celsius, and we are going to say 2 Celsius equals, or I should say value equals, and value is going to equal, let me see if I can get this right on the first time. And all this is in the instructions. So all right, now basically what is that saying? So we're doing 5.0 divided by 9.0 times our value that's coming in minus 32. That should give us the proper value, and then we need to return that value. So let's return the value. All right, so we wrote our function. And all we did was we took the function prototype, created this, and we're saying we're created a value. We're going to convert it, store it in a value called value, and then we're going to return that value. But now we have to print it out. So basically we have to say, so let's do this. Let's create another integer. We're going to call it cell val, because that's going to be our Celsius value. And we'll call it Celsius return value. And again, these are comments, so you want to comment your code to make it a little more efficient. So basically what we're going to do is we want to type in cell value equals, and that is going to equal our function, so 2 Celsius. And we got to pass in the value that came in, which is our F number. So we're going to say F number. I'm going to put this here. Convert the value from the keyboard to Celsius. Okay. Once we do that, the next thing we're going to do is print that out. Printf. We're going to say the Celsius temperature is and we need to call cell val. All right, so essentially let's just review what we already did here, and what we did so far, and what doesn't it like? Okay, it's just a warning. All right, so what we did so far is we created our function prototypes, which is a big part of this assignment. We also created some temporary values and some return values that we're using here. Again, you could do it any way you want. I'm just showing you an example. Creating a print statement, which is going to be our conversion, just printing out temperature converter from Fahrenheit to Celsius. And the next thing we're going to do is say enter number 1 for conversion from Fahrenheit to Celsius. And then we should probably say enter 1 or 2 for Celsius to Fahrenheit. Oops. All right. Now, obviously, I don't have that coded, but now we enter the 1, we pull in the value, which is temp value, and we're saying if temp value, which is the value coming in from the keyboard, is a 1, then we're going to go through and do our conversion. So let's run this. Build successful. I'll move this up a little bit. We have our content, temperature converter between Fahrenheit and Celsius. Enter number 1 for the conversion, or enter 2 for Celsius to Fahrenheit. So let me enter number 1, and I hit enter. Now it's saying enter a temperature number. So if I enter 95, and we got an error. Perfect. So what is our error? Bad access code. Okay, so this is a good thing. So let's take a look at what our error could be. All right, so let's do a breakpoint here. Let's stop. Let's run it. And we are going to say enter number 1. I'm going to enter 95, and it should have broken us there. So let's do this. Actually, it's not even getting that far. So let's do this. Int f number equals 0. And let's see if we get the same error. Let's do a stop. Let's do a run. Say 1. Enter the temp. 95. F number is now equal to 0. And we are still erroring out. So let's see what the problem is. Format specifies type int, but the argument has a type int. Okay, let's do this real quick. Make sure we are okay, still errored out. Let's go back. Okay, I think I know what the error is. Let's do this. Oops. All right, let's run it. All right, so we got a 1. Enter the number, the temp number in Fahrenheit. We'll go 95, and it didn't return a value. So let's put a breakpoint here and see what's going on with our value. So we got past that because I did not have the ampersand signed. So let's run it again. This is a good part of debugging your code. So we're going to do 1, say 95. L value is equal to 0. So why would that be? So let's see here. So let's try it. Oh, let's go to the next line. We'll run. Again, let's do it. Let's put the breakpoint on the return. Let's see what the issue is. So we go 1, 95, and our value is 35. So that's the value we should have, but for whatever reason, our value is not coming back to what we expect. So now let's put a breakpoint here and see. Oh, cancel. We're going to run it. Oh. Okay, so we know that we're getting the right value. So we hit 1, Fahrenheit. Again, we're going to do 95. It's 35. Cell value is 35. Now let's see if it prints out 35. And we'll see if that's the issue. Make sure this breakpoint's off. One 95. It's coming back with that blank value. So let's take a step back and let's look at this real quick. Because another way that you would do this, in a way that I'm used to doing it, but I didn't want to cause any confusion, and let's check it out real quick. Let's try it this way. So I am going to and actually the issue is, hang on, so here's the issue. So we're getting a good lesson on debugging here too, but I do want to show you that other option too. So after looking at this, okay, 1, we're going to say 95, and then the Celsius temperature is 35. So let's take a recap real quick exactly what the issue was. So the first issue was on the scanf, I didn't have the ampersand sign. Then, for some reason, we weren't getting the value. Well, what was that reason? Well, because we didn't have our %D here. Remember when we were printing out? Didn't really know what to print out. So let's stop for a second and just review this. So again, what we were doing is, and you would update this area up here. And so let's say we were saying constructed by, let's just say John Doe. And this would be Unit 3 assignment 2, we'll say, and that is our main. So we created our function prototypes. We went down through the our main method, and we created a temporary value, a Fahrenheit number, and a Celsius value. And then we said to enter 1 or 2, and I'm only doing the first part, you would have to do the remainder. But essentially we're saying if our temporary value equals 1, then we're going to enter a value of 1 or 2. And then from a Celsius perspective, we're saying convert to Celsius our Fahrenheit number. And so I typed in 95, so the Fahrenheit to Celsius on 95 is 35. And we did our printf, so we called our Celsius function, it processed a function. Again, here's the value coming in, here's where the value was used, here's the value that's returned, and it's returned back, stored in the cell val, and then we printed that out to the screen. That is basically a great starter, and you're also able to see the debugging, which also had me confused because I was just kind of blowing through it and typing it freehand, but allows you to get a good idea of exactly what goes into this assignment and also the debugging associated. If you have any questions, again, please reach out to me, let me know.